What is going on, everyone? TJ here with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports, and in this video, we're going to be giving out a fully correlated slip for tonight's Nuggets and Jazz game. And my first overall play is going to be Nikola Jokic over 8.5 assists. Guys, we're going to go ahead and jump in, build out the rest of our slip right now, and also make sure you stick around because I am going to give out one bonus slip for tonight's Monday Night Football game between the Lions and the Raiders, so stay tuned. All right, guys, my second overall play in our fully correlated slip here between the Nuggets and the Jazz is going to be Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, also known as KCP, over 10.5 points. Now, when we actually just take a step back and think about these two plays together, right? What we're hoping for this specific game stack between Jokic and KCP is Jokic dishing to KCP and KCP obviously knocking down some shots, right? That is positive correlation when it comes to players assisting other players' baskets. And obviously when it comes to the NBA and it comes to basketball, we see more often than not players getting assists on other players' baskets. So that's what we're going to be hoping here for this little game stack of Jokic and KCP. KCP obviously knocking down shots when Jokic is finding him open in the corner and banging some threes. Now, this slip is coming directly from our correlation tool here at DGF. And guys, we had an absolutely massive day yesterday in the NFL. We had multiple slips hit in the Bengals 49ers game, Browns and Seahawks. The Eagles and Commanders, I think we swept on every single DFS platform. We can see here a couple results here. Cincy and the 49ers, nice hit over on Underdog. We had a nice Prizepicks hit for Seattle and Cleveland. And then the Eagles and Commanders, we had a Boom Fantasy and a Prizepick slip, also a UD slip hit as well. Guys, these slips come directly from our correlation tool. All you have to do is be a paying member of the correlation tool. We literally do all the math for you on the back end. We find the highest positive correlation combos between the plays that are currently offered on a DFS app on the board at that time. So we have multiple different books or DFS apps that we offer currently: Boom Fantasy, Jock Market, Parlay Play, Prizepicks, and Underdog. For multiple different sports, we have CS2, NBA, NFL, soccer. We also have college football, and we are working on a few other sports as well. So a ton of slips get populated to our correlation tool, and your job as a correlation tool user is to legitimately just go to the app that we're recommending this slip on and enter it yourself. It really is as simple as that. And currently we're up over 247 units since publicly tracking all of these slips on 8/18. So being up over 347 units, if you're a $5 bettor, you'd be up over $1,740, okay? If you're a $100 unit bettor, you'd be up over $34,000 if you just played the slips that get recommended to the correlation tool. It really is as simple as that, guys. All you got to do is put in the legwork, plug and play the slips. We do the rest for you, everything on the back end. Now, let's go ahead and finish out our Jazz and Nuggets stack here over on Underdog. As you can see, guys, we have 28 slips currently across multiple DFS apps that are ready to be entered. But this is the top guy. This is the one I wanted to give you, and here is the rest of this slip. So we had Jokic over 8.5 assists. We had KCP over 10.5 points. We're going to add in Jamal Murray under 3.5 rebounds. And then on the flip side, the Jazz side, we're going to add in Jordan Clarkson over 4.5 assists. And Walker Kessler over 7.5 points. So let's go ahead and get that added over on Underdog. We got Jamal Murray under 3.5 boards. We had Clarkson over 4.5 assists. And then we had Walker Kessler over 7.5 points. And guys, that's going to be a fully correlated slip directly from the correlation tool over on Underdog. We're going to uninsure this play. So if we throw $100, our return is going to be $2,000. Now, this is very important, and I'm going to tell you why right now. So when it comes to positively correlating your slips on these DFS apps, we can get away with it, right? These DFS apps don't alter our payouts in some cases, or in most cases. There are cases where certain DFS apps will alter your payout, but with NBA, NFL, etc., there are multiple sports that we can get away with it. Now, if we go over to a sports book, let's take DraftKings into consideration, and we build out a same game parlay using these exact plays over on DraftKings, we're only going to get a plus 1,400 return. So if I'm putting $100 on the slip, I'm only getting a $1,500 payout. That's for KCP to score 10.5 points, Walker Kessler to get 8+ points, so over 7.5. Jokic over 8.5 assists. Jordan Clarkson over 4.5 assists. And then Jamal Murray under 3.5 rebounds. And again, that is the exact slip that we just built out over on Underdog. We're only going to get a $1,500 return if we put $100 on the specific slip over on DraftKings, so using the sportsbook. Over on Underdog, if we put $100 on this exact slip, we're going to get a $2,000 return. So it makes absolutely no sense for you to be entering these slips over on a sportsbook when we can get a way better bang for our buck playing this over on Underdog, Prizepicks, etc. Now, the reason this happens is because these sportsbooks know we're trying to positively correlate. That's why they have these same game parlays. Because we have opportunities to actually positively correlate game stacks. In this case here, we have a bunch of overs for points and assists and then under on rebounds. The whole logic and thinking of that is that hopefully we're scoring, hitting baskets, and then Jamal Murray doesn't have the opportunity to actually get rebounds. So the sportsbooks take this into consideration, and that is why they alter our payout, right? If they weren't altering our payout, we'd get a much higher return like we're seeing over on UD. So again, guys, if you're trying to game stack and positively correlate your slips, don't do it on sportsbooks. Do it over on these DFS apps and get a way better return. All right, guys, so we've built out our fully correlated slip over on UD for the Nuggets and Jazz game tonight, and now I want to give you guys a bonus slip, and we're going to move over to the NFL, and we're going to talk about the Lions and Raiders game. Now, I am going to give this out for Boom Fantasy. If you guys haven't downloaded Boom Fantasy yet, you can use code DGF for 100% match, and you'll get a free entry up to $100 risk-free. So if you guys haven't downloaded Boom Fantasy, make sure you do so now. They have the same exact payouts on a 5-leg uninsured slip that Underdog offers. So definitely take advantage of that. And guys, the correlation that we're showing over on NBA is strong, but for NFL, it is much stronger. And I'm going to show you exactly why in a second. But here is our fully correlated slip for tonight's Raiders and Lions Monday Night Football game. We got Jared Goff over 264.5 passing yards. We got Josh Reynolds over 35.5 receiving yards. We have Jimmy Garoppolo over 251.5 passing yards, Devontae Adams over 75.5 receiving yards, and Hunter Renfrow over 8.5 receiving yards. And if we were to put $100 on this slip, we would get a $2,000 return, right? So plus 1,900 odds is what we're looking for in this Boom Fantasy slip. Now, the exact example that I showed you over on DraftKings for the NBA game, I'm going to show you again a same game parlay over on DraftKings for the Lions and Raiders game and show you why you should be playing these over on these DFS apps opposed to the sports books, because they hinder your payout so much. Now, if we enter those same exact 5 plays in a same game parlay over on DraftKings and we put $100 on it, we get plus 1,200 odds. Our return would be $1,300. So we're missing out on $700 profit by playing this over on a sports book like DraftKings and not a DFS app like Boom Fantasy or Underdog Fantasy. And the reason this happens is because the sportsbook knows we're trying to positively correlate, right? We're trying to find outcomes that are more likely to occur together. So if I'm taking Jared Goff over passing yards and Jimmy Garoppolo over passing yards, right? What I'm hoping for in the outcome for this specific game script is a lot of points here in Monday Night Football between the Raiders and the Lions. I want both guys throwing all over the field. So if that's happening and both guys are throwing for a ton of yards, that means their receivers are going to obviously have more opportunities to have more receptions, more receiving yards. So that's why if we're taking both overs on both quarterbacks, we want to correlate that with over for receiving yards for wide receivers. That's why we're going to be pairing this with Hunter Renfrow over receiving yards, Devontae Adams over receiving yards, and Josh Reynolds over receiving yards. I wouldn't want to play Jared Goff and Garoppolo both over passing yards and come back and take the under on their receivers. That would be negative correlation and it wouldn't make any sense. So if we're able to positively correlate on these DFS apps and not have our payout be altered, that is what we want to try to do when we're building out our slips. And guys, that is going to do it for today's video. We have 2 fully correlated slips, 1 NBA slip for the Jazz and the Nuggets game, and then 1 fully correlated slip for Monday Night Football between the Raiders and the Lions. If you guys are going to be tailing this slip, please go ahead and hit that like button. Also, if this is your first time stumbling upon the channel, welcome. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you turn on that notification bell so whenever we do go live or post content, you get notified first. For anybody interested in getting signed up for our correlation tool, if you head to our website, DGFantasy.com, this is DGFantasy.com/correlation. This is our correlation performance. Anybody can publicly track this, by the way. You guys don't have to have a membership to actually see our graph and track our performance. But if you head to DGFantasy.com and you can head to our pricing tab, you guys will see the option for fantasy bundle and DFS correlation. So if you guys want to get signed up, try to find a membership option that works for you. But guys, hopefully we cash both of these slips or at least one, and I'll catch you on the next one.